Love Sleepers Lost is exciting in part because of how difficult it is, I think. I'm someone who tends to be drawn to scripts that are sometimes considered impenetrable. I did Strindberg's Ghost Sonata for my thesis at Yale, and everyone thought, "Why would you choose that play?" But there's something that get really excited about in terms of taking a script like Love Sleepers Lost, where the language is so complicated, many of the jokes very arcane, and there's an impenetrability sometimes to that language, and going, okay, how do we figure out a way to make this visceral and accessible to an audience? And I think that the amazing thing about Love Sleepers Lost is that actually underneath the complicated and in some ways the artifice of the language is a play that's so much about the danger of allowing our intellects to overwhelm and limit what is most human about us, that underneath that language is this exuberant, electric energy of youth, of a young society that is coming of age and finding their way in the world. And I was really, I was excited to see a world that we got to enter with this group of characters that was on the cusp of adulthood, that, you know, they are starting to embark on this journey in life where you have to decide how you're going to connect your head and your heart, and if that is something that you're going to be able to do in order to find love and in order to find your humanity. And it's interesting, you know, that Shakespeare has created a world with Love Sleepers Lost where everyone's heart and head are disconnected, and part of their challenge is finding their way towards a balance, which is, I think, something that we begin to investigate in that period of time where we're starting to grow up, and then it becomes a lifelong challenge that we face. And so in that way, I feel like Love Sleepers Lost is a play that is absolutely for everyone at any time in their life. And there's something that, you know, I'm really interested in uncovering the primal, human, almost animal impulses that I think are really thriving underneath that language, at times threaten to break through the artifice that the king has sort of imposed on this world in order to pursue fame, in order to pursue immortality, and finding the conflict between those two things. Because I think, again, all of those uncontrollable, inarticulable impulses are what make us so human, and then the rules that the world at large imposes, or that we impose on ourselves because we think it is the right thing to do. I think the conflict between those two things is a lifelong struggle, and I have to say, there are moments in that play that feel so recognizable to me from my childhood. Even, I mean, these girls showing up and, you know, being thrown a tent and, you know, a camping stove, and being told to camp out on the outskirts of this beautiful, you know, palace that he's created. There's something, and then the boys coming to their campsite, you know, to play this joke on them, and then the point at which the joke starts to unravel and get out of their control, and the point at which the game starts to become serious. All of those things are so, feel so personal to me in terms of the process of growing up and finding our way in the world. And in Love Sleepers Lost, it's very much a group of people who are still playing at the idea of love, trying to find where they actually live in that, and these young women who are really coming into their own power and their own truth. And then at the end of the play, I think in a way give these young men a great gift of saying, you haven't quite found yourselves as much as you think you have, but take the next year and get to know yourself a little better, and if I am still what you want, I'll be here, and if not, you know, go on into the world. And it's very, you know, I think we don't know at the end of the play what is going to become of these couples, much like life, you know, in the process of growing up, and then you go out into the world, and there's many paths, you know, at least 4, as you know, if not more, in terms of how many couples are in that play. And it feels so, that play and that, in some way feels so like life to me.